Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy back here, and today I'm recording a video on my Overwatch League pick'ems. Yes, finally, I'm working on this. If you don't know, I will be doing my pick'ems for week 2, as originally I had planned on doing them for week 1, but me being my usual self, I just completely fucked that up. Yes. By the time I realized it was Overwatch League time, yeah, week 2 literally was happening that day. So, as I mentioned in my last video, most of my pick'ems are out on Twitter. However, not all of them, due to me once again being an idiot. However, I will be getting this video out. So, they're going to be very similar to how I do my Call of Duty League pick'ems. However, something I'm going to have to explain is the whole West region and East region thing. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the Overwatch League, there's the West region, which tends to typically have the most, teams and shit. And then there's the East region, otherwise known as the APAC region, that doesn't have as many players, but is very star-studded, especially this year. They feel very fucking star-studded. So, in the West region, we have the Houston Outlaws, the Dallas Fuel, the LA Gladiators, the San Francisco Shock, the Toronto Defiant, my favorite team, Vancouver Titans, the Atlanta Reign, the Florida Mayhem, and there's some teams I'm definitely missing. Did I say Paris? I think I said Paris. I might. If not, there's the Paris Eternal, the London Spitfire, Boston Uprising, and the Washington Justice. I believe that's all of them. I could be wrong though. Just heads up, I could be wrong. However, for the East region, what we have is the Guangzhou Charge, the Shanghai Dragon, the LA Valiant, the Chengdu Hunters, the Philadelphia Fusion, the Seoul Dynasty, and I'm definitely missing someone. Where are they? Oh yes, the New York Excelsior, the Hangzhou Spark. I probably said that wrong, but yeah, and that's the final team. Once again, I'm gonna say this now just to get this out of the way. If you're like a huge fan of the APAC region and I butcher your team's name, I'm sorry. I'm trying the best I can. I don't know much about the APAC region. However, another thing is, I will not be saying the rosters of the teams for the Overwatch League, due to the fact of, one, it would take me twice as long to edit because there's damn near twice to 3 times more players per team compared to Call of Duty League, but also, out of respect for a lot of the players and their fans, as a lot of them come from Asian, Korean descent and shit, and their names for me, not for everyone, but at least for me, are very, very difficult to pronounce. And I just don't see it as right that I sit there and try to pronounce them and butcher 90% of them. And I just think that's kind of fucked up. Even though it's literally just me trying to pronounce the names, I can't say them, so I'm not going to waste my time trying to say them knowing that I'm getting them wrong. Especially because I also don't know what these names mean for the teams, because for all I know, these names could be very sentimental to some of these players, and the last thing I want to do is accidentally upset a player because I butchered their name and apparently it was something like very huge for them. I would just not feel right. But yeah, and let's see, I know there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. No, I think that was it. I might remember it later, but yeah, with all that out of the way, I want to get into my week 2 predictions because I missed week 1. So for Week 2, it starts Friday, April the 23rd, with the Western region's first two games, the Paris Eternal versus the Vancouver Titans, the Los Angeles Gladiators versus the London Spitfire. So, for that game, I have the Paris Eternal beating the Vancouver Titans 3-1. I've personally got the chance to watch both the Paris. Actually, no, I missed the Paris Eternal match, but I got to see both of the matches with the Vancouver Titans, and they just did not look that good. I mean, they did not look good. And Paris has been a pretty consistent team. Not to mention, they surprised me when I believe they beat the fucking Atlanta. Nope. Who did they beat? It wasn't Atlanta. It was... fuck. Or wait. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh. I could have swore they played. Oh, well. I guess... scratch what I said. It was Florida who beat Atlanta in the first week. So, that's my mistake. And, well, I guess in that case, the only thing I'm really going off of was last season. Last season they killed it, and so far this season it's not been Vancouver's fucking game so far. So, I just don't think Vancouver would be able to pull it out. Now, for the Gladiators versus the Spitfire, I have the Gladiators winning 3-1. Once again, purely for last season. The London Spitfire just didn't play that well last season. They've recently moved over from the APAC region to the Western region. And if they look anything like they did last season, it is not going to be a good year for London. But, yeah. And then I don't think the APAC region... Yep, no. APAC doesn't have anything on the 23rd. However, on Saturday, April the 24th, it will be... Actually, I'll start out with the APAC region because those games will play first. With the Chengdu Hunters versus the New York Excelsior, and the Philadelphia Fusion versus the Sparks. And for those, it wasn't really that hard. The Hunters surprised the shit out of me with how they played. I believe I had them losing to... They played, I had them losing to the Valiant. And they completely 180'd and surprised the hell out of me, pulling out a win over the Valiant. And then, they went on to surprise me again. They fucking beat Shanghai. I don't know what changed from last season to this season for the Chengdu Hunters, but I am all for it. They are doing phenomenal, and honestly, I think they have a good chance in beating the Excelsiors. And then Philadelphia Fusion versus the Spark. Fusion have not lost their spark, ironically. They are playing just as good as they had been last season. And if not, maybe even a little bit better in a weird way. But, yeah. And now, still on Saturday, the April 24th, we have 3 matches for the for the Western region. The Houston Outlaws versus the Paris Eternal, Boston Uprising versus the Los Angeles Gladiators, and the Washington Justice versus the Dallas Fuel. Now, for all these matches, all these matches are ending in 3-1s, and I have Houston beating Paris, Boston losing to the Gladiators, and then Dallas losing to the Justice. Justice last season pulled just a fucking crazy playoff losers bracket run. And honestly, I think they're going to carry that same momentum into this season. I think they have a real chance at pulling out something phenomenal. And then I have Boston losing to the Gladiators. I'm hoping I'm wrong about this. I'm going to be honest. This is the one game I hope I'm wrong. But last season, the Boston Uprising just got their fucking asses handed to them. Just royally fucking handed to them. And Gladiators, they're not playing that bad this season. I think they're going to beat Boston. Then the Houston Outlaws versus the Paris Eternal. Houston Outlaws, another team that surprised the absolute shit out of me. I had them in the first game of the season. It was them versus the Dallas Fuel, and I had them winning 3-1. It was much closer than I thought. It ended 3-2, but Houston still pulled it out. But then the next week, they were going up against the Shock. And if you don't know, the Shock are two-time back-to-back winners of the Overwatch League. They have won the championship twice. Last season and the season before that. Houston pulled off a fucking huge upset 3-2 victory over the fucking Shock. Honestly, if they can carry the same momentum they're having right now, they're easily going to coast through the fucking... They're going to coast through this part of the regular season. They're going to absolutely fucking kill it. And honestly, I'm kind of hoping they do keep this up, because I'm impressed. And just like in the Call of Duty League, it wouldn't hurt to see some of these bigger, well-known teams that are known for doing really well. It really wouldn't hurt to see them maybe get taken down a couple of pegs and have some of these other teams rise to the occasion and actually be up at the top. That wouldn't hurt. But yes, now moving on to Sunday, the final games being played on the April 25th. It's the Hangzhou Spark, I probably butchered that, I'm sorry, versus the New York Excelsior and the Hunters versus Fusion. I have the Sparks getting an upset win over the New York. And the reason I'm calling it an upset win is once again purely for last season. Because even though I have them both losing, I think my memory is bad. I forget what I just said. Yeah, no, even though I have them both losing, New York killed it last season and was one of the teams who played very, very well during the playoffs. However, I believe in the underdog teams. I believe these teams are going to come back and have a great season this year. Or at least a great week 2. I'm hoping that will still carry on into like week 3 and shit. And then there's no upset here. I think the Hunters are going to beat the Fusion 3-2. I think it's going to be a close match, but they took down Shanghai. They took down Shanghai in a fucking 3-0 win. That is no fluke. If you can pull something like that off, you have my vote. You have my vote. I'm all for the Hunters. I think the Hunters are going to beat the Fusion. And then, finally, for the APAC, or for the Western region, sorry, I have Houston versus the Spitfires. Or it's going to be Houston Outlaws versus the London Spitfires, Boston Uprising versus the Dallas Fuel, and then Vancouver Titans versus the Washington Justice. I have Houston winning 3-0 over London. It's just, I'm sorry, London, you played like such shit last season. I don't have much faith in them being able to pull out a win here. In Houston, once again, they just took down the previous champions. That's impressive as shit. I mean, that is really impressive, and I think they're going to beat the Spitfire. And then Boston versus the Fuel. I just feel the Fuel are going to win this 3-1. Boston, just last season was not a good showing for you guys. You guys went like a total of they have like a total of 3 wins, and for that, just no. Like, the season lasts so long and they could only get 3 wins, and they didn't even, I think they only made it into a tournament like once. And that's just not a good showing for your team. It just really isn't. And then Vancouver versus the Justice. I think the Justice are going to continue their they're going to continue their momentum. They're going to win 3-1 over the Vancouver Titans. Before anyone mentions it, no, I'm not being biased because my favorite team, as you can clearly tell by my Widowmaker skin, being the Toronto Defiant. No, I'm not being like fucking biased because I want Toronto to be the better Canada team. No, Toronto already proved that when they fucking stomped Vancouver at the fucking their first match. I mean, they've already played for the Battle of Canada, and I predicted that match perfectly. I predicted it would be a 3-1 victory for Toronto Defiant, and I was right on the dot. I got all points that round. And then they came back and reverse swept the fucking Atlanta Reign. Trust me, I had full faith in my team. I had Toronto Defiant beating the Atlanta Reign 3-2, and well, they fucking reverse swept them and won it. And then I had Vancouver losing to Toronto 3-1. I predicted both of those games correct. I have full faith in my team to the point where even if Vancouver does start winning, I'm not worried. I think Toronto is going to be just fine. But with the way Vancouver's been playing, I think it might be a while before they start doing good. But that's just my personal opinion. So that's it, actually. That's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed. As I mentioned in the last video, me and Matt are still working on that video. We will get it out as soon as possible. But also, another thing. Tell me what other stuff you'd like to see, because I have a couple of ideas and some stuff I'm working on. But I'm always up for suggestions. Tell me what type of stuff you'd want to see, or like what type of videos you want me to make with somebody. I'm all for these ideas. Just let me know in the comments, or even DM me on Twitter, TikTok, whatever. And speaking of TikTok, if you want to see more like funny moments clips, or just weird shit, stuff that might not even be put in videos, stuff that like just me, Matt, Case, and just dumb shit we do that gets recorded, go ahead and follow me on TikTok as well. I'm going to try to post as much content as I can right then and there, just so you guys can have content when I don't have, videos up, or I'm working on videos. I want to make sure you guys have content and some stuff you could always have fun watching. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever the fuck you need. And I'll see all you fluffy bastards in the next video. Peace out then.